What is going on, Jerome's? Mercifully, we are only 9 days away from the 2023 NFL Draft, and all the talk and all the mock drafts finally going by the wayside. And now we're still an advocate of the Vikings moving all the way up for the quarterback of the future. What if they move down? Because the Minnesota Vikings right now only have 5 draft picks, no second rounder, as well as no 7th rounder. So somewhere Rick Spielman is shedding a tear. So we know that Kwesi, being an analytics guy, the more tickets that you have in the raffle, the higher chance that you have of winning. But of course, we know Kwesi loves to trade down, as he's made several deals up and down the trade, up and down the board, several trade down spots, including deals in division with the Lions last year, going from 12 to 32, as well as 34 for 2 second-round picks by the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers. So we know that Kwesi loves to make deals, and we know that he is the godfather, the quest father, as it were. So the Vikings, I highly doubt that it's going to be a stick and pick situation for all 5 selections. I know that's really going on a limb, but if the Vikings do want to potentially move down, if the board breaks right, and a lot of analysts have only pegged this class as having about 20 first-round talents. So if the board is relatively flat, if a guy doesn't stick out at 23, specifically for what the Vikings need, maybe another team sees the board differently, and a player they want to come up for is there, and the Vikings certainly would benefit from going back into the second round, because even though there's only 20 first-round picks of talent, just like every single draft, there's going to be a lot of talent at the top of day 2, so it would behoove the Vikings to be able to get back into the second round. So we have a handful of trade back options for the Vikings. 7. Siete. Right, so this is the Rich Hill trade value chart that we're basing the numbers off of, and these are all approximate, and the trades that actually go down are sort of all over the place, but generally you can tell which team is the one doing the ask, because they're generally going to have to give up more in value, whether they're the team wanting to move up or the team wanting to move down, etc. So the Vikings 23rd overall pick is worth 760 points on the Rich Hill chart. 23 and 87, their third rounder is 915, and 23 and 119, their fourth rounder is 816. Just for frame of reference. So if the Vikings want to trade down but stay in the first round, teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs having picks at the back end of the first and second rounds, Eagles would be 904. Of course, the Vikings have done a lot of business with Howie Roseman in the past, but of course that was Rick Spielman, not Kwesi. And then the Chiefs at 876 for 31 and 63. Now the question would be, why would the Eagles or the Chiefs want to move up to 23? Especially since the Eagles already have an earlier first-round pick at number 10. I mean, it could be Bijan. It could be Bijan Robinson in both spots, because say the Texas running back gets to 23. Adding Bijan to the Eagles, if they don't take him at 10, that would be disgusting. Adding Bijan to the Chiefs with Mahomes, my goodness, man. So could you imagine Bijan and Pacheco running the ball together? That's gross, man. That's gross. But it would sync up relatively close to 23 and 87. Maybe since the Vikings would potentially be the one moving down and not doing the asking, since the Eagles and the Chiefs would be the one motivated to come up, maybe the Vikings could get by with the 23 and 19 for 30 and 62 or 31 and 63 from Kansas City. Now, there are 5 teams that have multiple second-round picks, and I included one package with the Bears because they also, because they're the worst team in football last year, have the number 1 pick in the 3rd round. So this is descending in points of value. So the Steelers have the first pick of the 2nd round because of the Chase Claypool trade. They also have their own at 49 that's worth 1,000 points. So the Vikings, if they want to move into those spots, could be 23, 87, and 119 to make it close on the chart. And of course, these don't factor in, hey, what if we throw Dalvin in the deal? What if we throw Za'Darius in the deal? Because it's tough to put a points value on current active players. So then you have the Jets at 42 and 43. They have an extra second-round pick in a roundabout way from the Browns. So why would the Jets want to move up? Maybe Hendon Hooker? who knows? But if they don't give up one of these picks for Aaron Rodgers, if that thing is still on the launch pad, I mean, who knows? Who knows what could happen there? Or maybe they don't go tackle with their early picks, but they see a guy like Paris Johnson or Anton Harrison potentially falling. So moving up to 23 and packaging their 2 second rounders for 23 and 87 would make some sense there. The Bears, I have no idea who the Bears will come up with because they have so many damn holes that they should probably have all the picks there, but I don't know. Maybe one of the offensive tackles that catches their fancy. Maybe they pass at 9, or one of the offensive linemen, but they're still on board at 23. Like we said, the whole Paris thing, the whole Anton Harrison thing. Maybe that could make sense to package some of those picks. So Vikings 23 and 87 for 53, 61, 64 could be syncing up there. Oh, also, who would the Steelers come up for? I don't know, maybe one of the premium cornerbacks, maybe Kalijah Cansey along the defensive line. Could make some sense there. Maybe Nolan Smith. Hell, Seahawks. So Seahawks, they do have 2 first-round picks of their own. They have the extra one from the Broncos, as well as they're drafting at 20. Also, the Seahawks have an extra second-rounder from the Broncos in the rush trade. So those 2 picks in the second round total up to 9-10. So it's close to the Vikings 23 and 87. But who would the Seahawks come up for? So say Seattle goes a different route at 5, and say they go defense, say they go front 7. Tyree Wilson has been tied to the Seahawks a lot. Maybe they go a different direction at 20, but maybe they want to circle back. Like maybe they see that Hendon Hooker is still on board and they want to grab the heir apparent to Geno. So they'll be willing to package up their 2 second-round picks to move up to 23, because I think you look at how Jalen Hurts got paid after year 3, being the second-round pick. Teams really are going to value that 5th-year option for a quarterback. They really are. So getting Hendon Hooker in this spot could make sense. The Lions have 6 and 18 in the first round, but they also have 48 and 55. And of course, the extra second rounders are from the Vikings and the TJ Hawkinson trade. But say the Vikings go defense at 6 and 18, which is something that could happen. Could one of the premium tight ends still be on the board? Maybe they want to come in for a Dalton Kincaid at 23. Maybe it's worth it to them to move up from 48 to 55, so they don't have to settle for like a Laporta, even though Laporta is going to be good. Maybe they do want Kincaid. Maybe they do want Michael Mayer, etc. So it could be an opportunity there. And also, the Vikings and Lions have done business several times already. The trade last year for Jameson Williams, the trade for TJ Hawkinson. So Kwesi and Brad Holmes seems to have a decent rapport with each other. So maybe a deal could get done. And then lastly, the Bears at 662. So this may just be straight up a 23. And also maybe a little bit of extra change from the Bears, maybe an extra 3rd or 4th rounder, but 53 and 61. Picks only. But again, who would the Bears want to come up for? Maybe if one of the tackles falls, who knows? Maybe Skoronski takes a tumble. Unlikely. Maybe they want to come up for Osiris Torrance. Who knows? But this is all obviously board dependent. But if the Vikings get an opportunity to move down and the board is relatively flat on who they want, I think it would make sense for Kwesi to package up 23 and move down for a couple of second-round picks. And there's multiple teams that have multiple second-rounders this year, or there's a way that they can move down and stay in the first round as well as pick up a second-round pick. But we'll see what happens overall. But your thoughts are thoughts. 7 trade down spots for the Vikings in the upcoming 2023 NFL Draft. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.